See, Craig Mack used to come up in the studio, man, by himself. You know, so or have man that whoever was driving him, whoever he was riding with, he used to come over in the studio by himself.
And was like, yo, I can only cut you a third of the money I'm supposed to give you.
Girl, you won't believe what we just discovered about Craig Mack. You remember him, right? The rapper behind that iconic track, Flavor in Your Ear. Well, the streets are buzzing with wild claims that he's trapped in a cult, and you won't believe who's allegedly pulling the strings. None other than Diddy himself. From platinum records to desperate cries for help, Craig's story is more outrageous than your wildest night out. Stick around, because we're about to spill all the tea on how this rap star ended up in such a crazy situation.
Mac, he asked Diddy for money before at an event. And Diddy, he pulled out a wad of money with a smirk on his face and only gave him $100. You heard about that?
I don't know about that, but I could see Puff doing that, fronting like that. I could see that. See, Craig Mack used to come up in the studio, man, by himself. You know, so or have man that whoever was driving him, whoever he was riding with, he used to come over in the studio by himself. And he would have confrontations with Puff. And I mean, they talking. You understand? Puff would talk in front of all of them because he showboat. He know he ain't gonna use Craig no more. But Craig needed the money. He wasn't even using Craig to write. He wasn't even using Craig to write. If Craig needed a little money and everything like that, there was a lot of business going on. He could have either put Craig down on some projects for him to write. He wasn't even using Craig to write because he didn't want to have nothing to do with him because Big didn't like Craig Mack. And
Damn, so he just sided with Big and everything.
yeah, man. He didn't like Craig Mack.
Yeah, they also claim in this article that he filed for bankruptcy to try to leave Bad Boy.
Well, that's some legal jargon. Now, I guess he filed bankruptcy because he couldn't go no place else. You understand? He was trying to show that, you know, he didn't have no money. He didn't have nothing to pay his bills or something. That's some legal jargon that I'm not even familiar with that one, bro. But if he did it, it had to be for a purpose. Yeah, but you know that he was about to go home to death row. You know he was about to go to death row, right?
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that. Looking at this article, they brought that up too. They claimed that Craig Mack, he was about to sign with Death Row to get back at Diddy. They claimed that Suge Knight, he flew him out to LA, he offered him an advance for $200K in a recording budget for $1.2 million.
Well, I don't know how true that is, man, but I know for a fact Eric B was going to be the president and take over. He's going to be in charge of Death Row East. Him and Big D. You understand? Craig Mack was going to be their first artist. You know Eric B and Rakim, right? From
Yeah,
Eric,
of course.
yeah, okay, you know that. So Eric B was going to be over Death Row East. Craig Mack was going to be their first artist. And then when Pac got killed, all that shit just went down the drain. Yeah, he was signing with Death Row East, but it was because of Eric B. I know Suge Knight cut the checks and everything like that, but Eric B had already made that, you know, that situation that was going to happen because at the time, Puff ain't want no problem with Eric B. Eric B is like Hammer, one of them quiet gangsters that nobody really know about, and you don't really want a problem with them. Yeah. So Puff ain't want no problem with Eric B. So if Craig Mack would have went there, it'd have been all good.
Yeah, and they also claiming that Diddy, he was trying to change Craig Mack lyrics and the way he dressed.
Well, Craig Mack was, like I said, he was his own artist. And that's why Big never recorded around Puff like that. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think you would get too many like Big did like what, the double CD, Ready to Die. How many times you gonna see footage of him and Puff in the studio while he was recording and everything? Big did his shit on his own. Like when he was doing that Bone Thugs and Harmony, we was all in the studio together. Big was smoking, but Big didn't record that. Big waited about 3 or 4 days after Bone Thugs and Harmony record their stuff and recorded on his own. So none of them like to be in the studio with Puff like that, Craig Mack or Big. So I don't know how they can say that Puff was giving them ideas. You know, I've seen Puff tell people to change certain things, but I guess that's what a producer do, an executive producer.
Girl, let me take you back to the 90s when Craig Mack was the name on everyone's lips. Remember Flavor in Your Ear? That track was hotter than a summer sidewalk in Atlanta. You couldn't turn on the radio or hit up a club without hearing that beat drop. Craig was living large, rolling with Bad Boy Records and making Diddy look like a genius for signing him. But fame is a fickle friend, and Craig learned that the hard way. One minute he was on top of the world, and the next he was left wondering where it all went wrong. The money started drying up faster than a puddle in the Sahara. Craig went from popping bottles in the VIP to scraping together change for a bus ticket. It's the kind of fall that makes you clutch your pearls and say a prayer. You won't believe what happened next. Craig was out there struggling, trying to make ends meet like he never had a platinum record to his name. The streets say he was knocking on every studio door in New York, begging for a chance to spit some bars, but the industry wasn't trying to hear it. It was like they put Craig on mute and tossed away the remote. That's when Diddy slid back into the picture, looking like a knight in shining armor. Craig probably thought he was getting a second wind, a chance to climb back to the top. But girl, it turned out to be more like signing up for a life sentence in Diddy's personal prison. Don't get me wrong, Craig thought he was grabbing onto a lifeline, but it was more like a noose. The tea is scalding hot on this one. People close to Craig are whispering that Diddy's help came with more strings attached than a marionette. He went from thinking he was getting back in the game to realizing he was just a pawn on Diddy's chessboard. And here's where it gets real sad. Craig is out here crying for help, but it's like he's screaming in an empty room. The silence is deafening. His old friends in the industry are acting like they don't even know his name. It's as if Craig Mack has become a ghost haunting the edges of a world that once worshipped him. The streets are buzzing, saying Craig's trapped in a situation darker than the bottom of the ocean. He went from having the world eating out of his hand to begging for crumbs from Diddy's table. It's the kind of story that makes you want to hold your loved ones close and thank your lucky stars it ain't you. So the next time you hear Flavor in Your Ear come on the radio, pour one out for Craig Mack. While we're all jamming to his biggest hit, he's out there somewhere trying to find his way back to the light. And from what we're hearing, that light is getting dimmer by the day.
I'm Craig Mack and G-Dub. We already spoke about Sean in the last interview, so we don't have to speak on that. But Craig Mack, what was the reason for the fallout between him and Puffy?
I think it had more to do with his management. See, back in those days, bro, I think a lot of the guys who were managing and having managers, they was using guys that were close to them. They really probably didn't know the business that well. See, Mace had a manager named Cuda, and Cuda knew the business, whereas the Mace got a damn good contract on his first contract. And I was hearing that Mace's first contract was better than Big's contract. You understand what I'm saying? So now, Craig Mack manager may have known a little bit more about the business than Puff thought he should have. And Puff told Craig Mack, and I was there when he said, yo, if you don't get rid of your manager, I ain't fucking with you no and Craig Mack wasn't getting rid of his manager. So it was that fallout. I think I seen on one of the video shows, and you see Craig Mack like this while Big and Puff is standing up and they talking, and Puff say, "Yeah, we're gonna do Craig Mack, yep, take that, yeah, we're gonna do Craig Mack, yep, take that. We're gonna do Craig Mack album in January," and Craig Mack did like this, and looked at him like, "Fuck is you lying for?" You understand? That's in one of that videos that circulated on the internet. But he didn't like Craig Mack managers, so he got rid of the guy who actually launched Big's career.
Yeah, I know the interview you're talking about. It was an interview with Puffy, Biggie, and Craig Mack. And they asked Puffy what was the upcoming plans for Bad Boy. And he brings up Craig Mack, and he say Craig Mack is coming out with an album. And Craig Mack, he looks at him with like this confused look on his face. But G-Dep, man, I want to talk about him and Puffy, man. What was the issue between him and Puffy?
Well, I don't know if it was a fallout or anything like that. G-Dep, him and Black Rob, in a sense, never left the streets. You know what I'm saying? And G-Dep Rob brought G-Dep to the label, and he wanted G-Dep to be his artist, but Puff took G-Dep as his own artist, made that money off him, and kicked him to the curb. So I don't think it was much of a fallout. He just couldn't handle. Puff is the type of dude, if he can't handle you, he gonna get rid of you. If he can't do what he wanna do with you, you're not gonna be in his camp. That's why he never signed DMX. And he signed the Lox, because the Lox was more comfortable for him. He thought the Lox would be more comfortable for him dealing with them than X. You know what I'm saying? So he signed people that he could deal with, and he worked with the people that he could deal with. If you're gonna be a head case a head problem, 9 times out of 10.
But here's what has everyone scratching their heads. Why Craig? What makes him so special that Diddy won't let him go? Is it just about keeping Craig quiet, or is there something bigger happening? The streets are buzzing, saying Craig might know something that could bring Diddy's whole empire crashing down. And the plot thickens when you start looking at Diddy's other projects. Is Craig just one fish in a whole sea of artists Diddy has on the hook? People are connecting the dots, and the picture they're painting ain't pretty. It's like Diddy has a whole collection of secrets, using them to play puppet master with half of the hip-hop world. You know what they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. Right now, there's enough smoke around Diddy to set off every alarm in New York City. People are waking up and looking at Diddy's success with new eyes. They're asking questions like, how did he get to the top so fast? And who did he step on to get there? So the next time you see Diddy on TV, all smiles and designer clothes, remember this tea we're spilling, because behind that smooth talk and those hit records, there might be a whole lot of broken dreams and buried secrets.
But Black Rob was one of those extraordinary head problems, because he could make a hit.
Mace, man, he said another line in the Oracle too that caught my attention, man. He said that you not an architect, you just a nigga that know how to market dev. How you feel about him saying that?
Self-explanatory. Self-explanatory, dog. You know, he probably made about $400 to $500 million off of Big's death. With the album, with the marketing of it, all that Missing You and stuff like that. You know, their songs and everything, the concerts and everything. And I think Ms. Wallace got like 7.7 million. I'm not for sure, don't quote me on it. But I think she got like $7.7 million for that album. Huh? Didn't it go 10 times platinum or something?
Yeah, he actually went diamond, and it did sell 10 million.
So, with Craig Mack, Black Rob, you know when somebody die, they re-put their music out and everything like that, and they throw a little market campaign up there so people could buy their music. They rush and buy those artists' music once they die. You understand? And the artist might sell a couple of million more than what he had already sold once he died. So that's the only thing that I could think about he's saying he's marketing death. You understand? Or putting people in positions.
Nails, we're talking about a family that's got nothing to do with blood and everything to do with brainwashing involved. Guess who might have a VIP pass to this circus? Our boy Diddy himself. Hold on to your wigs, because this is where things get real wild. Craig didn't just fall off the map. He fell into the arms of a cult. You heard that right. This ain't your average Sunday service.
Craig Mack and Puffy.
We're talking full-on brainwashing vibes,
manager,
the kind that makes you forget your own name.
Puff
The streets are buzzing with sightings of Craig at this so-called church. And let me tell you, he's looking like a shell of his former self. Remember that smooth-talking fly guy who used to light up the stage? Now he's walking around with dead eyes, like someone sucked all the life out of him. Ex-members of this cult are spilling the tea, and it's scalding hot. They're saying Craig's in deep, deeper than the Mariana Trench. One former member, who wants to stay anonymous, and can you blame them, claims Craig's been fully indoctrinated. We're talking 16-hour prayer sessions, weird rituals, and rules so strict they make a nun look like a party animal.
Change your management? I ain't fucking with you.
And it got to a point where Biggie, he had a problem with Craig Mack too, right? What was the issue he had with Craig Mack? Because I seen an interview that Biggie did with Little Siege, right? And he said that he didn't fuck with Craig Mack in that interview. I never understood that, man. What was the issue
Craig
between
Mack
the two?
At the time was hotter than Big. I said this before. If it wasn't for Craig Mack song, Big, you gotta realize Ready to Die was out for 6 months and it wasn't doing no numbers. When Big got on that remix on Craig Mack's song, and he went first on Craig Mack's song. When he did that remix, then it started been looking up for him. But Big from Brooklyn. You understand? If you wasn't from Brooklyn, Big really wasn't fucking with you on the for real, for real.
And it's been said that Craig Mack, he was going to Death Row, right? How did Biggie and Puffy feel about that? Because at that time, they was beefing with Death Row, Suge Knight and Tupac. So, so how did they feel about that? What's that getting to him, knowing that he was about to sign with Death Row?
Now, I didn't hear anything about that, but I knew that Craig Mack was going to sign to Death Row. He was going to be their first artist on Death Row East. He was coming in there with Eric B. Eric B and Big D was going to run that label. You understand what I'm saying? So Craig Mack was going to be their first artist. He was supposed to be performing that night at, I think it's 662?
Yeah, Club 662 in Vegas.
Yeah, Club 662 in Vegas, the night Pac got killed. Craig Mack was supposed to be performing at that club that night.
They're spreading rumors without any receipts, but the streets are buzzing, claiming that Diddy has a trump card that has Craig shaking in his boots. What could possibly be so damaging that a former chart topper is living in fear? Girl, you're not ready for this tea. Let's get into the real dirty stuff. Diddy's playing games, and Craig is just a pawn in his twisted chess match. Word on the street is that Diddy has some serious dirt on Craig. We're not talking about your run-of-the-mill gossip. This is career-ending, life-ruining material, the kind that makes you want to hide under your bed and never come out. Sources close to Craig say he's been trying to break free from Diddy's grip, but it's like trying to escape quicksand. The more he struggles, the deeper he sinks. Every time Craig thinks he's found a way out, Diddy is always one step ahead, pulling him back in like a puppet on a string. Have you noticed how Craig seems to vanish whenever he tries to speak out? It's like clockwork. 1 minute, he's ready to spill the beans, and the next, poof. He's gone like some kind of magic trick. Something mysterious always happens to shut him up. Coincidence? Chilly, I think not.
And I was going to set out the Death Row East shit. See, what people don't understand, man, there was people that was trying to stop this whole shit before it got to that point, because I guess they realized, yo, listen to me, man, somebody gonna die behind this shit. You understand? So they tried to have that meeting, and I talked about that meeting before, where the people who was running Death Row East wanted to talk to Bad Boy, and they needed a representative, and Puff wouldn't come to the table with them. Man, Craig Mack went to his grave mad at Bad Boy. Craig Mack told his people, told the religious people, that don't let them pay for shit of mine. I don't want them to pay for nothing in my death. You got to be mad at a motherfucker, man.
Kirk Burrows, I want to go back to this interview I did with him, right? He made a comment in this interview and he said that Biggie and Puffy wasn't that close as Puffy makes it seem. What you think about him saying that?
I don't believe they were. I don't believe they were that close because Big used to always clown him. You understand? You know, but Big needed him just as much as he needed Big. And I think that it was basically just a business type situation. But they were cool. But Puff had robbed Big and Big was robbing Puff. Those games you don't play like that with your friends or nobody, especially when there's money involved. Big learned the game. Big seen how, through his management, Puff was robbing him and had robbed him out of his publishing and his marketing. Puff seen how Big learned how to put his publishing in other people's name to stop him from getting the money that he was owed. But Big had to play the game because Big wanted to get his publishing back and his marketing that he had sold out to Puff. So you got to be cordial. You got to play the game. But you got to look at the business of it. Big didn't bring those groups to Bad Boy. Did he bring Lil Kim to Bad Boy? No. Did he bring Lil C's? No. Did he bring Junior Mafia? No. He didn't bring none of his groups to Bad Boy. The groups that he had with Un. They took that shit to Capitol. You understand what I'm saying? And Atlantic.
People close to Craig say he's more scared than a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. What does Diddy know that has Craig so terrified? It must be something big, because every time Diddy's name comes up, Craig looks like he's seen a ghost. Whispers are swirling about secret recordings, shady deals, and maybe even worse, it's darker than the bottom of your mama's purse. Some folks are saying Diddy has tapes that could send Craig away for a long time. Others are talking about deals gone wrong, the kind of dirt that would keep even the toughest gangster rapper up at night. Craig's family is worried sick about him. They say he's not the same person anymore. Remember that bright-eyed, smooth-talking rapper who had the world at his feet? Now he's jumping at shadows, constantly looking over his shoulder as if he's expecting the boogeyman to pop out at any second. The question on everyone's lips is, how far will Diddy go to keep Craig under his thumb? Right now, it looks like there's no line Diddy won't cross. He's holding on to Craig tighter than your grandma holds her purse in a crowded mall. So, the next time you see Diddy flashing that $1 million smile on TV, remember this tea we're spilling. Behind all that glitz and glamour, there might be a whole lot of skeletons rattling in his closet. And Craig? He's just trying to keep those bones from falling out and crushing what's left of his career.
My man, it touched me crazy, man, because the hurt that I seen in her voice, in her she crying, man, and she worrying about what this dude could do to her and what he has done to her. Man, listen here. I want to let this young lady know, and I know this is not the place for it, brother, but please allow me to say this to her, man. You know what I'm saying? I started this battle long time ago. And the situation is that, bruh, we already won. This was some spiritual shit that Pac, the spirit of Pac, the spirit of Big, the spirit of Miss Jones, the spirit of Wolf, all the people that he has done wrong, you know, so Black, all the people that he has done wrong, bruh, is coming to light. We already won this shit spiritual. What we going through right now with these trials and everybody, you know, with this financial situation and everything like that, all that is superficial. That's the physical part of it. The spiritual part of it was won because Big, Pac, Wolf Mother, all the people that he did wrong, bruh, you understand? They already won the battle where we were supposed to win it at. So now we just going through the physical part of it, man. And I want that girl to know, man, that she ain't got to fear no man. She ain't got to fear him, Nobody else, man. Whenever she needs, you understand? Whenever she needs somebody to travel, to go with her, to make sure she all right, I'm a phone call away, man. I'm a phone call away. And go ahead with your questioning, man. I just had to get that out, man, because that girl touched a lot of people, man, because all she wanted to do was write music, make music, and show her talent and her love to the people, man. And then she got to feel this way, be fearful and scared of her life and stuff like that. Ma, I ain't scared of no man. You understand? I ain't scared of no man. Nobody that got to put their pants on the same way I do. Not at all.
And for the people that don't know who Tiffany Red is, that's Cassie's best friend.
That's one of Cassie's friends. She was writing a lot of music, and she said that she was writing music for her friends to get raped to. Oh my God, man, come on, man. Start with your interview. I'm sorry about that, brother, man. That's just it's crazy to me, man. Man, leopard don't change his spots, and Diddy been doing this for a real long time, bro. He been doing this for a long time, and now another artist. This artist didn't wait 10 years.
Girl, Craig Mack's story is straight up chilling. It's like a horror movie unfolding right here in the music biz. The industry's dark side is swallowing people whole, and Craig is just the tip of the iceberg. We need to wake up and smell the coffee before more artists end up trapped like him. Listen, if you see something shady going down, don't keep quiet. Craig is out there crying for help, but he ain't the only one. There are probably more artists stuck in similar situations, too scared to speak up. We've got to look out for each other in these streets. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears to the ground, because this story is far from over. We'll be right here, ready to spill all the piping hot tea. The music world has some serious skeletons in its closet, and it's about time we drag them out into the light.
Buying from them, they had that type of, connection with people.
Wendy Williams, what you think about what's going on with her right now?
Oh my man, that's crazy. That was heartbreaking. I watched that whole show, bro. And I remember Wendy way back when, and I've seen her at the radio station when I used to go up there and take people up there for K-Slay. And I seen her, first time I seen Wendy, she was trying to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? And I remember telling the guy, yo, Wendy who? He said, yo, Wendy Williams. She want to know who you are. And I said, where's she at? And she was on this, like this chair, like a mantle sitting up on the stage and stuff like that. That's just go right there. And I was at the bar chilling. I had bought some champagne, a bottle, stuff like that, setting it up for my friends them to come in. And they said, Wendy want to know who you are. And I said, who I am. And I looked at her, she said, yeah, Wendy Williams, that's her. I said, I would know, I told the dude, I said, I would have to see her baby pictures. The dude said, well, what you mean by that? I said, yeah, I had to see her, she said, Wendy Williams, because she didn't, look real feminine to me at the time. I said, I would have to see her baby pictures. You know what I'm saying? And he just looked at me, and it was the dude Skeletor. So when I was watching the whole Wendy Williams thing, I used to go to her Dons and Divas party. You know what I'm saying? I knew her husband, Cav, because my man Chaz used to do business with him or whatever like that, you know what I'm saying? Because they used to do those Dons and Divas parties. So then she got with Cav. Cav was a street dude, out of Brooklyn. People knew him. So long story short, to see that she went through the stuff and how that drug, alcohol, and cocaine ruined probably one of the greatest talk show hosts life is a template for everybody who want to be in the entertainment business to see that you could be at the top of your game and you could be at your bottom of it. The same ladder you go up is the same one that you must come down. And that drugs and that alcohol don't mean you no damn good. because it has torn up one of the greatest minds of radio of our time down. So it was heartbreaking to see Wendy in that type of situation, bro.
How you feel, and I hate to ask you about this, but you see it on social media, so I want to get your opinion. How you feel about the people that say that, what she going through right now is karma?
So let me ask you a question like this. Is she the first gossip column? Nah. She was just doing she had an avenue and she had a lane that was done better than anybody who did it before, that came before her.
But I'm talking about her, coming at people, beefing with people, spreading rumors that wasn't true. One, for example, her saying that Tupac got raped in prison. He did an interview complaining about what she said and how, it was a lie. So, stuff like that.
It was a lot of people that was doing that before. It was people was exposing that way before then. What about James Brown? They talk about James Brown beating his wife. They talking about Marvin Gaye being strung out on cocaine way before Wendy Williams. They had gossip column, they had shit like that, but she just perfected it and she was great at it. And she came and she brought it to the forefront of television. You understand what I'm saying? It's no different. It's just the way she did it made it seem like it may have been salacious or something like that. It wasn't. It was just her doing it her way. I don't blame her for what she did. I don't think it's nothing different from a lot of these people who come on here who claim like they journalists. She went to school. You understand? A lot of people claim to be journalists like you, myself. We all come on here, but who has an education in journalism? Who has an education in broadcasting? Who has an education in communication that they could come and develop a program and stuff like that? You don't have to have that anymore. You got people coming on here and they talking they doing their thing. You understand? But there's none other like Wendy Williams, man. None other like her.
I was looking at an interview from Jaguar, right? And I want to get your opinion on it. She told a story about how she knows a lawyer that walked in on Christopher Williams giving Diddy fellatio for a demo deal. You know anything about that? You heard about that?
Bruh, I don't know how true that is. I've heard that but I know Christopher Williams. And I know Christopher Williams was a crazy, gangster-ass nigga from Mount Vernon. From up in that area, Westchester. He didn't play that shit. He kept that 3.2 or that 38 on him, and he will shoot the shit out you. You understand? He was rough with his hands with the women. And the story went on and said that a lawyer walked in the office. When she walked in the office, she walked right out. And she said it was a dude. And she said it was Christopher Williams. It was one other brother. I forgot his name that worked with Bad Boy. Him and Christopher Williams could have been brothers. And if anybody was doing that, it would have been him, not Christopher Williams. Do you understand that? Him and Christopher Williams could have been brothers. That's how close, they had the same look, light skin, the little low on the side, curly hair and stuff like that. I would never believe it was Christopher Williams. You understand? But that other cat, yeah. You got to realize when you walk into something, it's very few people, if they walk into something like that, they're going to stare there and look and just be all into the shit, right? There's very few people going to do that. When you walk in something that's very inappropriate, you're going to back up out, especially women. You understand what I'm saying? So now, if she's seen a glance, she only going to see a glance. Now, if somebody who looks like Christopher Williams, maybe. But then you got to look at it like this. Was she in the office all the time? I don't remember us having a lawyer in the office like that. Or she was just coming by that particular time. I don't know. I don't know the situation. I want to stay off that, but I know from knowing Christopher Williams, having an altercation with him before, and knowing people that know him, he's some old crazy gangster shit. And why would he Puff? Nah, bro. Puff wasn't that damn big back then.
Keefe D, what you think about that situation, yo? What's going on with that?
Well, I spoke to Keefe D's son, and Keefe D's son said that he was all right, he was fine. He never got beat up in jail. All that was bullshit. He in jail with family and friends, and he's doing good. They just trying to get this money up so he can come home.
I don't think you're gonna get the money, bro. Who gonna put the money up for that, yo?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Do you still feel the same? You think he's still gonna win it?
I know he gonna win it. I know he gonna win it. You got to realize he got a trial by judge. The judge has to file. The judge has to follow the letter of the law. There's only circumstantial evidence and hearsay on a murder case.